All right, we're back with Nashville SC midfielder Patrick Yazbek. Patrick, a rare Sunday match this weekend. So if you want to start maybe by talking a little bit about preparation for that, how it's different, how it's similar, and then of course what you expect to see from New York on the weekend.
Yeah, I guess it's just changed, obviously, I guess the layout this week in terms of days, but nonetheless, it's always kind of the same preparation, no matter who we're coming up against, and I'm looking forward to the away trip in New York.
Great, start with Bob.
You ever played on a baseball field before?
Yeah, no, haven't played on a baseball field, played on an AFL field, played on a cricket field. Baseball field's probably something that's next. I have a friend who plays in New York, Aidan O'Neill, and he's kind of given me the rundown about how it's kind of like different levels, some parts of the pitch, but that's something we can't control. You just gotta kind of embrace it, and yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see how it goes.
Ben?
Yeah, last time you guys played New York, obviously it went up 2-0 and then kind of conceded 2 in the second half. I know that was a long time ago and very different scenarios for both teams now, but kind of what do you take from that game, I guess, going into this weekend?
Yeah, obviously, it's something maybe to rectify. We want to go into this game and kind of get the 3 points, because obviously last time out we felt like we probably should have and we didn't, which is something that is a little bit more extra motivation. And also some learning points too. Obviously they are a good side. They play a little bit similar to us, and they have their strengths, but also their weaknesses. So I think if you look back on the 2-2, it's kind of, I don't think, a justified result for us. So that's something that we're using as extra motivation to go to New York and kind of get the job done.
And then BJ talks a lot about just wanting to be process-oriented versus result-oriented. And he talked a lot about that during the kind of unbeaten run earlier in the year. How do you... what are some ways you're trying to implement that after 2 losses?
Yeah, that's the idea. We want to be process orientated, and I don't think that we want to reflect on the previous results, no matter if they're positive or negative. It's a mentality where it's the next game, and that's the most important game. That's literally it. So obviously, it's unfortunate for us that we haven't gotten the results that we have wanted to. However, it has not come up in conversation at all week. We're so focused on this game as a singular fixture against New York, and I guess that's the kind of approach that we're going to take from now for the rest of the season, and for as long as BJ's here at the club and I'm at the club. So it's obviously it's exciting to think like that. I don't think we have too many negative thoughts at the moment. It's all positive, and we're just really looking forward to going out on Sunday and winning.
Yeah. With New York City FC playing at Yankee Stadium, statistically the smallest field in MLS by dimension, how does that affect your game, knowing that you're someone who likes to run, likes to cover a lot of miles out in the pitch? Are there areas you try to emphasize more?
Yeah, you play on all sides, all kinds of pitches. Like obviously the St. Louis one was quite big, probably one of the biggest we played on, and then now New York's going to be the smallest one. So I think for me personally, it doesn't really make a difference. I'll always kind of adapt to whatever the game's asking me to do, and the fact that it's a little bit smaller probably makes my job easier. It means that I don't have to run as much, and I can kind of cover the ground quicker. So it's going to be fun. It's something that we can't control at all, so we just got to prepare well and go there and just take it as it comes.
And what's it been like to kind of as a club to be reincorporating Tyler Boyd, to have him in training and closer to his return? Is there maybe any maybe friendly banter between you and him?
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah. Obviously, when I first came, I didn't get to see Tyler on the field at all, and we've had this little running joke over the past few months, especially when I first got here, that I'd never even seen him touch a ball, and we were like real close friends. So he's a great guy. Really good family. And I'm just really excited to see him back on the pitch and doing well. I think this last week he's looked as sharp as he's ever been since he's kind of reintegrated into the squad. So I've seen his clips and his highlights, and I'm excited to have him back in the team as a player, but also as a person. Real good personality, and yeah, I'm keen to see him on the field.
Last 2 games that you disputed were against very good teams. No disrespect to any of them, of course. San Diego's first place in the West Conference for some reason. But was it more, in your opinion, more stuff that you probably didn't do, or just to drive out? Or how was that in terms of combination?
Yeah, I think when you look at games, obviously, it's never going to be perfect. You know, like you look at the Columbus game that we played at home, we won 3-0, but was it perfect? No. So sometimes it's about moments. You know, obviously the first goal that we conceded against San Diego was more or less a moment that kind of let us down a little bit, which is something that we've looked back on and we're aware of. And same as St. Louis, you know, it's a game of moments. So I think as a team we are playing very well and we're consistently playing well, but it's just about managing the moments in the games. And obviously when you do go away from home, that's something that's a little bit different. You know, you need to be a little bit more intelligent in terms of, let's say, gamesmanship and, you know, kind of slowing the game down when you have to. So I think that's something that we're kind of, you know, looking at growing and developing. But, you know, like I said, it's always about the next game, and, you know, knowing that we have a team that's willing to play in New York, it's going to be exciting, and, you know, we're just so focused on getting the job done there.
So from the start during the game that you can actually control as a team and play the way you play, how confident is the group right now that this could be a very good opportunity to set back to the winning ways?
We've never been more confident than ever, you know, and I think that's so important. You know, when you go into a game, you don't want to go in thinking that you're not going to get the result that you want. So, you know, we're just so focused on improving as a team, and I think if we just really lock in on what we've been working on in training, we give ourselves a chance. You know, that's the most important thing. And then once we've given ourselves a chance, it becomes a moments thing. And then if we take our moments, we'll succeed.